I'm here with Nissa from Atomic Reach at Inbound 18. We're here doing our second Inbound pop-up episode. Nissa, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Moby. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So Nissa, one of the things I love about your tool is in our industry, in marketing, there's this sickness of always trying to look for like a rule of thumb. Like, you know, does my email, should it have text in it? Or should it have imagery in it? Should my blog be this long or whatever? So what I love about your tool, it actually takes all that out of the equation. It throws that kind of by the wayside.
Right.
So tell us, I guess, how you guys do that and how Atomic Reach actually helps clients.
Sure, absolutely. And actually, that's a good point because one of the common reasons clients usually work with us or even agencies is they are overwhelmed with the amount of data out there or information out there. And if you look at the same subject on email, how to write better emails or better content, you get 10 different best practices and how do you make a decision, right? So what our tool does is it actually tells you, uses data, looks at your own content, and then it tells you exactly why and how you should write.
Yeah.
And so it takes all the guesswork, all the hunch out of the equation. It's all backed by science and data. And what's also cool for someone like an agency is the intelligence is very personalized, meaning you have 10 clients or you're writing for 10 different types of audiences. You're able to personalize that data for each of those individuals. So you're not constantly switching and thinking about what to write. It is already there. You just need to plug and play and use our AI to start creating content on that basis.
Yeah, so on that, I want to reference an example one of your colleagues was actually showing me before. So he was showing me emails, and I think it might have been synced with HubSpot, and you could see, whether it was 500 words or 400 words or 300, like which amount of words was performing best from a click-through point of view.
Yeah.
So that was one thing you can test with emails, for example. What are some other things that you can test with this tool?
So email specifically, so length is very important, right? Because there are so many you want to find out what length is ideal for each campaign. So our tool can also take it one step further. For this type of campaigns, this length was perfect. For this type of campaign, this length is perfect. But on top of that, also the subject line of the email as well. How long should the subject line should be? Whether you need to use some type of an emotional word in there, whether question marks makes a difference, the length, whether if you're using different types of images or GIFs, and if the positioning of all those questions, does that make sense as well? So that is on the subject line, but it also looks at the same thing for the body of the email as well. You're not only looking at length, the same thing applies. Is the email, is it the right emotional tone? Are you using the right pronouns? Is it more about you, or is more we? And so you can look at that per campaign, and you're able to craft better emails based on that basis, right? And
that's
one thing I wanted to add is all this data is useful if it provides you tangible results. And you might be wondering that. And what our customers typically see is using our tool, they get a lift on page for blog content anywhere from 89% to 90% increase in page views and 55% increase in conversions. Because at the end of the day, that's what marketers want. They want to drive those leads, and they want to drive those across blogs, emails, and ads, and that's where we help.
So you made a good point there. You referenced, because obviously we just spoke about emails at length, but it's not just emails, like it's blogs. What else can Atomic Reach help you with?
So today we do blogs, emails, ads. Our goal is to expand that beyond. So what is coming down the line in the future is landing pages as well. And one step beyond that is a marketing team does all of these four things. So let's say you create a great piece of content, then you want to send an email campaign, then you want to create an ad campaign around that. So what we do is now we are also doing a cross-functional, we are launching a tool in the future called Campaigns, where we will look at all the messaging across the board, and so your language is consistent across the board. So right now what we find a lot of marketing teams is one person is creating blogs, one person is creating ads, the language is different, and the customer experience is not that great because they're getting different types of messages. So that's one of the things. What we are hearing from agencies and customers now as well, they're getting warmed up to the idea of automation. So right now we provide the data, we provide the assistance, the AI guides you in creating, but in the next many months, what we want to see is more automation. That's the request we're getting from more clients. They're asking, can this be automated completely? And that's where the future is, and that's very exciting.
Can it create the content? Is that what they're asking?
Yeah, I mean, right, can it based on what you see here, can it create the sentences, can it merge the sentences? But in the future, an ideal scenario is, can it create the content based on your data, not just based on engagement data that you have. It's able to provide that information. So that's a little bit future. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I wanted to share what customers are asking us, because more and more companies are now warming up to automation and AI right now.
Well, that's where the market's heading, and it's great to hear you guys at the forefront of that. Obviously, at the moment, it's guiding your blog posts, it's guiding your ads as well, which we just briefly touched on as well.
Yes.
What's going to convert better?
Yes.
I mean, if you do this right, I can see this thing paying for itself very easily.
Yeah.
And in the future, to be able to do that for you, actually use your data and write your ads, write your blog post, anything written content really, you guys are going to be able to obviously help people. So, Nasir, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great inbound.
Thank you, Moby. It was a pleasure.